1 second. So we are studying from Srimad Bhagavatam, and we are on the third canto, chapter number 9. We're going to continue that discussion. Before we do that, let's offer prayers together. A very, very important and a wonderful chapter where Brahmaji is offering prayers to the Lordship, and then he makes a prayer for protection, and the Lord blesses Brahma and speaks some very wonderful instructions, which is very relevant for all of us also. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Nadam Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Dashapayesha Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakta Bhavati Nashtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Dena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachatare Shatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gotase Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna. Can I get a small stool? So we are on the third canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, and on the 9th chapter, if I am correct. We have had discussion up to the 11th or the 12th verse of this 9th chapter. It's a little long chapter, it has almost 40 plus verses. So let's try to begin our discussion. Just enabling the screen sharing option if somebody wishes to share the screen. So Brahmaji begins to offer prayers to the Lordship. And in the first 5 verses, he talks about the Lord, his personal form, and then, talking about the 3 levels of realization, Brahman, Paramatmiti, Bhagwaniti, like that. And the most auspicious form is the personal form of the Lord, is how Brahmaji begins to offer prayers or glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Finally, in the 5th verse, while describing the various forms of the Lord, in the 5th verse, he says that how the Lord is always residing in the heart of pure devotees. And like this. You're never separated from the devotee's heart, so smell through the ear holes the aroma of your lotus feet. Very beautiful verse we discussed last time. Carried by the air of Vedic sound, like that. And then from 6th to 10th verse is where we had some little discussion. Now, after describing the glories of the Lord, he speaks. Who speaks? Brahmaji, who is the secondary creator for all of us. Brahmaji now speaks about the predicament the conditioned living entities put through, the problems of life. Text number 6, he says, as long as they do not take shelter of your safe lotus feet, people are covered with aham mamiti conception, and therefore they're always full of anxieties. I and mind, by default, if in case we are caught up with I and mind, it is just a source of misery. It just, therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, not only in Bhagavad Gita definitely speaks about it. In fact, in the corporate world, it has become a very interesting subject matter of detachment. I'm going to start some course for one forum for senior executives where they asked me to speak exclusively on the need of cultivating detachment. You know, and why? Because people are realizing the more attached you are, it leads to a lot of frustration. And the greatest attachment one has is to results, is to the results. And that is the source of all misery. And Lord Shri Krishna makes it very clear upfront in Bhagavad Gita, you have the right to perform your duty, but you have no control on your results. And we are trying to control that, which we have no control. So whoever you are, you're bound to be frustrated. That is how in the 6th verse, Brahmaji speaks. The 7th verse, he talks about the conditions of the unfortunate living entity. They have lost their intelligence. They have turned against auspicious topics of the Lord, and they are engaged in inauspicious activities. And similarly, the concept goes in 8, 9, 10, like this. Now, Lord's reciprocation with various devotees is where we begin our discussion. In conclusion on this topic, predicament of the conditioned souls, our Brahmaji is saying it's largely because of their aham mamiti concept, arising because of bodily identification. I am the body. I am the enjoyer, controller, proprietor. These are the consequent understanding and on this aham mamiti concept. Okay, so let's go to now verse number 11 and we begin our discussion. So 11, Lord is kind to his devotees. We had discussed this last time. And text number 12. So here now in next 3 verses, 11 to 13 verses, Brahmaji makes a very profound statement where he says how Lord reciprocates with various devotees. When it is a subject matter of a pure devotee, when is the subject matter of pure devotee? If somebody is a pure devotee, then the Lord dwells in the heart of a pure devotee. In the case of a demigods, Lord definitely attends to them, but he is not satisfied with them. Just like we're discussing on the Sunday evenings about Indra's pastime. Whereas in the case of non-devotees, the Lord is neither satisfied nor available. So again, hierarchy. In the case of pure devotee, Lord dwells in the heart of a pure devotee, which means he's satisfied and he's available to them. In the case of demigods, Lord is available to them, but not satisfied. In the case of non-devotees, Lord is neither satisfied nor available to them. Like that, in the verse number 11 to 13, Brahmaji speaks. Let's take a look. Where's my stand? Oh, I'll just give it the stand. Give me. I'll use it for the book. I'll do it. Bring it. Text number 12. Nati prasidati tatupachi tupachare aradita suragane hidibadha kamehi yes sarva bhuta dayayasad alabhayaiko Nana Janesh Abhita Antaratma. My Lord, you're not very much satisfied with the worship of the demigods who arrange for your worship very pompously with various paraphernalia, but who are full of material hankerings. You're situated in everyone's heart as a super soul just to show your causeless mercy, and you are the eternal well-wisher, but you are unavailable for the non-devotee. So remember this, for non-devotee, neither pleased nor available. For demigods, available but not pleased. So we have discussed on this concept before also. Samsiddhi Haritoshanam, like that. So the goal for a devotee is to please the Lord, like this. Okay, now let's go to text number 13, where Brahmaji says, any service done for the Supreme Personality of Godhead never goes in vain. In fact, the service purifies them and eventually brings them to the highest platform. Pumsamato vividha karma bhir advaratya dani nachoga tapasa paricharya yacha आराधनं भगवतस्तव सत्क्रियार्थो धर्मोर्पिता करचित् म्रियते न यत्रा. Satkriya artha, just simply pleasing. How? Paricharyaya, by transcendental service. But the pious activities of the people, such as performance of Vedic rituals, charity, austerity, penance, transcendental service, performed with a view to worship you, satisfy you, by offering you the fruit of results, are also beneficial. Such acts of religion never go in vain. The last few lines of the purport: anything done on account of the Lord is permanent asset and accumulates in the form of unseen piety for gradual promotion to the unalloyed devotional service of the Lord. These undetected pious activities will one day result in full-fledged devotional service by the grace of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, any pious act done on the account of the Supreme Lord is also recommended here for those who are not pure devotees. Now, from verses 14 to 21, Brahmaji offers his, not Brahmaji, he offers his respect to Lord Vishnu now. So we'll read that, text number 14. Let me offer my obeisances unto the supreme transcendence, who is eternally distinguished by his eternal potency. His indistinguishable impersonal feature is realized by intelligence for self-realization. I offer my obeisances unto him who by his pastimes enjoys the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation. So, interesting purport. Purport talks about it. There are two kinds of rasa dance. One rasa dance is in the spiritual world and one rasa dance in the material world. The rasa dance, the spiritual rasa means mellow. One rasa dance where Krishna is engaged with his cowherd friends, gopis, and other rasa dance of the material world where Mahavishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu are engaged in the dance of creation, maintenance, and destruction, like this. The rasa dance is performed by Lord Krishna in the company of the cowherd damsels, and the personality of Godhead, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, is also engaged in rasa enjoyment with his external potency by which he creates, maintains, and dissolves the entire material manifestation. Text number 15, Lord's glories. Yasya avatara gunakarma vidambanani namani ye suvigame vivashagananti tenaka janma shamalam sahasaiva hitva shamyanti apavritamritam tam najam praprati. Let me take shelter of the lotus feet of him whose incarnations, qualities, activities are mysterious imitations of worldly affairs. One who invokes his transcendental names, even unconsciously, we have been discussing in the morning about the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. This is another verse. One who invokes his transcendental names, even unconsciously, at the time he quits this life, is certainly washed immediately of the sins of many, many births. and attains him without fail. Like this. All right, that's a point. Text number 16. Maybe I can have a reading partner. Nitya Prabhu, you want to be the reading partner? Please read the text number 16 translation. So then I can, because a big chapter, so I want to really cover it today. So accordingly, we need to be paid attention, we'll pay more attention. Text number 16, root of material world.
Yeah, should I read the translation, Prabhu?
Yes, you read the translation.
Yeah. Your lordship is the prime root of the tree of the planetary system. The tree has grown by first penetrating the material nature in three trunks as me, Shiva, and you, the Almighty, for creation, maintenance, and dissolution. And we three have grown with many branches. Therefore, I offer my obeisance unto you, the tree of the cosmic manifestation.
Who is me here? Brahma. Yeah, just was checking you are aware what's going on here. So Brahmaji is saying, you are the root. Urdhva Moolam, Adha Shakam. You are the root. And whereas we and Shiva and Vishnu incarnation are like the trunks which are there for the creation, maintenance, and dissolution like this. So in the Prabhupada focuses on universal management. And it's a very interesting point. This is something fundamental to all of us. Just like in this world, we have so many individuals responsible for managing affairs. Let's say in society also, you have society office, you have chairman, you have secretary, you have council of managers, whatnot. And under them, you have representatives who are running the whole affairs. So imagine for a small society when you can have so many people required to run the affairs, wouldn't be required for running the universe. And so that's the concept. So Vermaji is saying, me, you, and Lord Shiva are responsible for creation, maintenance, and destruction like that. Text number 17. Without God consciousness, all plans for fruitive enjoyment eventually fails. Please read the translation.
People in general all engage in foolish acts, not in the really beneficial activities initiated directly by you for their guidance. As long as their tendency for foolish work remains powerful, all their plans in the struggle for existence will cut to pieces. I therefore offer my obeisance unto him who acts as eternal time.
So interesting point. Kalosmi, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Here Brahmaji is saying, what's the point of making fruitless endeavors? Even if you have earned all the wealth of this world, you, my dear Lord, as time factor will come and destroy everything. Therefore, even I am afraid. So he's making a point. Here he says, of all the plans in the struggle for existence will cut to pieces. I therefore offer my obeisances unto you who act as eternal time. And then in the next verse is the same thing. You are indeed the control of time. And he describes about his own austerities. Please see the text number 18.
Your Lordship, I offer my respectful obeisance unto you who are indefectible time and the enjoyer of all sacrifices, although I am situated in an abode which will continue to exist for a time duration of 2 paradhas, although I am not the leader of all other planets in the universe.
Although I am the leader.
Although I am the leader of all other planets in the universe, and although I have undergone many years of penance for self-realization, still I offer my respects unto you.
So the point made is, although I am the Lord of all the planets, of everyone, yet I offer my respects unto you. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradi Govinda Sarvakarana Karana. So that's the point Prabhupada makes. If Brahmaji has to offer respect, tu kis khet ki mooli hai re? Like that's the point, So we should all offer. And then text number 19, Brahmaji says, my dear Lord, you appear in all kinds of transcendental form. Tiryan Manusya Vibudhadishu Jiva Yonishu Atmakrita Setu Paripasyaha Re me nirasa vishayo apyavarudha deyas Tasmai Namo Bhagavate Purushottamaya. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Unto you. Who is that? Please read.
O my Lord, by your own will, you appear in the various species of living entities, among animals, lower than human being as well as among the demigods, to perform your transcendental pastime. You are not affected by material contamination. You come just to fulfill the obligations of your own principles of religion, and therefore, O Supreme Personality, I offer my obeisance unto you for manifesting such different forms.
So now, so just to again help you understand the scene is here, Brahmaji is witnessing, first of all, in the previous chapter, we saw that Vishnu Thakur says he had the darshan of the blue boy, Krishna, and now he's actually offering prayer to Garbhodakshay Vishnu, who's lying on Ananshesh in the devastating waters right now. And it is the Brahma Murat time. And Brahmaji is offering prayers almost similar to a pujari who goes early in the morning on the altar and wakes up the Lord to prepare him for Mangalati. So he's actually in the next two verses going to say, my dear Lord, it's time for Mangalati. Devotees are waiting. Please wake up. Text number 20. Please use the translation.
My Lord, you accept the pleasure of sleeping in the water of devastation, where there are violent waves, and you enjoy pleasure on the beds of snake, showing the happiness of your sleep to intelligent persons. At that time, all the universal planets are stationed within your abdomen.
Text number 21.
O object of my worship, I am born from the house of your lotus navel for the purpose of creating the universe by your mercy. All these planets of the universe were stationed within your transcendental abdomen while you were enjoying sleep. Now, your sleep having ended, your eyes are open like blossoming lotuses in the morning.
Hare Krishna. So now, after offering prayers, requesting the Lord to wake up, now he actually makes a prayer what exactly blessing he wants, Brahmaji wants. So very interesting statements here. Generally, we are recommended to follow the prayers offered by our acharyas. We may not necessarily remember the verses, but we can at least remember the mood. So as a sadhakas, as a practicing devotees, we make every day a prayer to the Lordship, my dear Lord, please engage me in your devotional service, which is not sufficient. It is insufficient. To have the service opportunity is wonderful, indeed a blessing, but we also need empowerment to render the service properly. Then it is satisfactory. Just to have the blessing of the service is not sufficient. So therefore, in text number 22, now Brahma will say, my dear Lord, you already have given me the service. I have to create this world again, but I need empowerment to do so. So service alone is not sufficient. Along with service, we should also pray to the Lord for giving us the ability required to execute that service. That makes it complete. Well, it's still not complete. That will be completed in the next verse, but at least it's complete for the time being. Okay, equation. Text number 22, translation. Please read.
Let the Supreme Lord be merciful towards me. He is the one friend and soul of all living entities in the world, and he maintains all for their ultimate happiness by his six transcendental opulences. May he be the merciful towards me, so that I, as before, may be empowered with the introspection to create, for I am also one of the surrendered soul who are dear to the Lord.
All right. Purple lines in the purple, last few lines of the purple you can read. Lord Brahma prayed for his mercy so that he might be able to create the universal affairs as he did before. Please read from ahead. Only by the Lord's
only by the Lord's causeless mercy could he create both material and spiritual personalities like like Marichi and Narada respectively. Brahma prayed to the Lord because he is very much dear to the surrendered soul. The surrendered soul knows nothing but the Lord, and therefore the Lord is very affectionate towards him.
Hare Krishna. So he prays for the empowerment. And similarly, we should also pray to the Lord, my dear Lord, please engage me in your service and also give me the necessary skills and ability so that I can render the service. Now you've got both the things. You got the service and you've got the empowerment to render the service. Any other prayer need to be made? Now what happens next? What possibly can happen next? Think. Yes, Agni Prabhu. Bolo fatapat. Okay, we should not get attached because now we got service, we got empowerment, the results are bound to happen. And when the result comes, I am the doer. The snake of that illusion again arises. So the next prayer to be made, my dear Lord, kindly protect me. Let me not become proud of my services rendered, because that's a conditioned nature. Text number 23. Please read.
The Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, is always the benefactor of the surrendered souls. His activities are always enacted through his eternal potency. Rama, or the goddess of
Rama.
fortune.
That is Rama.
Rama, or the goddess of fortune. I pray only to engage in his service in the creation of the material world, and I pray that I not be materially affected by my works, for thus I am able to give up the false prestige of being the creator.
Yeah. See, imagine Brahmaji is praying, who knows the very fact my father is Vishnu, who is able to see Vishnu. You know, he's even conscious that I might become proud. So we should understand this is by default conditioning for us. So once Srila Prabhupada was visiting one place, and there one devotee decided to get a gift for Prabhupada. The earlier day, Prabhupada had glorified him for his book distribution service in the class. So he thought, oh, Prabhupada is here for a few days and he's going to leave. Let me buy some gift for him. So he brought a gift and he brought Srimad Bhagavatam book cover for Srila Prabhupada. And he said, Prabhupada, I have got something very special for you. Prabhupada said, what? And he said, Prabhupada, I've got a book cover. Prabhupada said, book cover, what is that? Srimad Bhagavatam book cover. Prabhupada said, I don't need it. He felt a little surprised. I don't need it. Prabhupada have never said like this, you know, he'll very kindly accept this. He said, I don't need it. So devotee said, what happened, Prabhupada? Prabhupada said, well, I never keep my Bhagavatam on the floor. So why do I need a book cover? And he felt a little more humble. And then Prabhupada paused. And he said, you know why you got this gift? Because you keep your Bhagavatam on the floor. You need it. And you're thinking, I would also need it. And he was totally humble. So there was a little sense of pride which has arisen because the previous day he was glorified. And see, because I need it, because I'm keeping mishandling Bhagavatam, then I should. So when we are doing service, of course, we're very conscious of the magnitude of the service that we are rendering, but we should not forget the attitude while rendering the service. And the right attitude is here, as Brahmaji is saying, my dear Lord, please engage me in devotional service. Please give me the necessary ability and also protect me from false ego or pride. All right. Foolish men want to take credit for all creations made by them, but intelligent persons know very well that not a blade of grass can move without the will of the Lord. Thus, all the credit for wonderful creation must go to Him. By spiritual consciousness, only one can be free from the contamination of material affection and receive the benedictions offered by the Lord. So, this is the last few lines of the purport. Let me put it this way. How many of you would acknowledge or agree, even despite knowing this fact that, you know, it is not my ability, or Brahmaji have made a prayer like this, how many of you agree there are all the chances of us becoming again victim to pride and to think I'm the doer, I'm the controller? Raise your hand. How many of you think we can again become victim to that? हमारा ऑनलाइन समाज क्या कहना चाहता है? Hare Krishna. So those of you online, a question has been asked. So what would you say? See, we can have a YouTube session only. So online Zoom, anyways, devotees are not having their cameras on. So what's the point of having Zoom? Take Abhishek. Next time on Friday, we'll only go YouTube live. So there's no point of having a Zoom session. Make a note of it. Don't share Zoom link from next time. Anyways, so we all agree here, isn't it? Uh, actually, uh, to not get bewildered is itself a sign of mercy. The actual mercy is not in the result produced. The actual mercy is not getting attached to the results. That is a real mercy. So that is what it means, a conscious devotee, an advanced devotee. It's a matter of mercy only to be able to know that everything is done by the Lord. Like Prabhupada mentioned, not even a blade of grass moved without the sanction of the Lord. So that's subject matter mercy. And then, okay, you got service, you got empowerment, you made a prayer, let me not become proud. What else? Is there anything else to be prayed? Brahmaji is going on. What else would you say? What else potentially can you ask? Huh?
Willingness.
Willingness for what?
Willingness to do service.
But willingness to सेवा मांगी क्यों रहा है? सेवा मांगने बात करे willingness भी. You have willingness, that's the reason you're asking for seva, na? What else? What else? What else? Huh? जीव जागो, जीव जागो, गौरा चंद बोले. वो 2 श्लोक पहले मर्सी मिल गई. What else? What else? What else? So see, look at the sequence that happens. You got the service, you got the empowerment, you're producing great results. You're able to do your service very nicely. Devotees come and glorify you, etc., etc. There is a fear of becoming proud. And the greater fear than that is the fear of getting distracted. Getting distracted. Getting distracted with puja labh pratishtha. Getting distracted with puja labh pratishtha. Text number 24. Please read. Yes, who is speaking?
Prachi.
Yes, mother.
Can we say that we can also pray that let him not get attached to whatever what service I'm doing? Like,
What is your sound is not very clear? Can you say a little slowly and once again?
can we pray that let me not get attached to the service or the result of the service? Like
Yeah,
as a
correct.
Brahmaji,
That's
like
a
in
point.
creation.
Correct. That's a point. That's again distraction, because then the goal of pleasing the Lord gets missed out. So you're in the right direction, correct. Let me not get distracted is what Brahmaji said. Text number 24. Please go ahead and read the translation.
The Lord's potencies are innumerable, and he lies down in the water of devastation. I am born as the total universal energy from the navel lake in which the lotus sprouts. I am now engaged in the manifesting his diverse energy in the form of the cosmic manifestation. I therefore pray that in the course of my material activities, I am not deviated from the vibration of the Vedic hymns.
Very, very beautiful purpose. Mark it as a 5-star purpose. Every person engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord in this material world is prone to so many material activities. And if one is not strong enough to protect himself against the onslaught of material affection, he may be diverted from the spiritual energy. Very beautiful point over there. If he is not strong enough to protect himself from the onslaught of material affection. Would anyone like to give a purport to it? What purpose is indicating here? Okay, maybe I should not ask too many questions here because there's a big chapter to complete. Okay, if in case anyone wants to give a quick input, otherwise I'll just share a few thoughts here. Okay, so what Prabhupada is indicating here is, see, strong enough and not getting affected by or carried away by the material affection. That largely refers to one's relationship with one's followers. So at any situation of life, our shelter are not our students, our shelter are our shelter givers. So our attachment should be towards our shelter givers. And towards those whom we are giving shelter, our attitude is of compassion and mercy. But it should not supersede our attachment to shelter giver, our shelter giver. And what is the measure of it? If in case we are spending too much time with our students and less time with those who's giving shelter to us, that's a sign you're getting distracted. So if you're giving time to your students, you have to take out time to take association of your seniors also. That is what by material affection. Because I mean, any Tom, Dick, and Harry who have been chanting the holy names of the Lord, any one of us for that reason, can very easily repeat Prabhupada's words and enchant the fools outside. And anyone will call us, oh, how learned you are. I mean, what is our learning? Prabhupada's learning, we're repeating it. And people think we know all the Vedic scriptures. You repeat Prabhupada's words and people may begin to glorify you. You're the most learned, you are this and that. And because then that culture of respect is there, you might get carried away from that affection. That's the point here. If one is not strong enough to protect himself against the onslaught of material, therefore, a teacher has to be very careful. There are certain etiquettes which defines teacher-student relationship. One etiquette is, as I asked my spiritual master, my dear spiritual master, this is the question that I asked him in Vrindavan meeting many years ago. How can I develop love for you? This was my question. It was not something I thought of. I was asked by Mother Kamagri. Maharaj asked, anyone would like to ask a question? Mother Kamagri immediately took my name. Mike will ask a question. It was back in 2009. And I didn't know what to say. And this was at the back of my mind going on that one time. I asked, Maharaj, how can I develop love for you? And he said, love in spiritual life means seva. Service, attitude, service thing. So this is an etiquette which defines that relationship. It is a service which brings us, our personal attention and time, not on a mundane emotions. So have to be careful. There would be people who would be demanding too much of your time. They want somebody just to listen to them. That's not the spiritual forum for that. They need a psychologist for that. They can go and pay 1,000, 2,000 rupees fees. After 1 week, they will stop feeling the need to speak because money hurts. So that something has to be. And so therefore, the very clear line has been drawn. What questions to be asked? In a teacher-student relationship, you should be listening, not speaking. What is the meaning of teacher-student relationship? That becomes a relationship of a friend. Yes or no? In a friendly relationship is the way we speak and speak and speak because we want to speak. But in teacher-student relationship, we speak this much and we hear this much. But if our speaking is this much and we are allowing only the teacher speak this much, that is not a teacher-student relationship. So we have to draw lines. We have to understand the etiquettes and act accordingly. And be careful. There would be individuals who would emotionally gonna drain you out. They would need a lot of your time and attention. You're fine to give it as long as you are keeping your connection very strong. The moment you are called from top, which means the moment you are called from your seniors, then doesn't matter to you. If that point of time, if you're saying, no, unko bolo main baad mein aunga, main abhi bahut busy hu, then you are distracted. Then you are already distracted, which means you have begun to identify more with your students than with your authorities. So there has to be clarity on that. So, and if one is not strong enough to protect himself against onslaught of material affection, he may be diverted from the spiritual energy. Where are you getting your spiritual nourishment? From down to up to down. That's the point. He may be diverted. Once that relationship is weakened, then you will be diverted from the spiritual energy. Once you become shallow, the people who are chasing after you, who are demanding your time, they will be the first one to dump and leave you. Because they were only interested and connected to you. And it is genuine for them because they saw some hope of spiritual growth. But when you yourself have become shallow, then they will say, hey, what is the use of this fellow? So don't get attached. Be careful about these things. All right. Few lines down. An ordinary Brahmana may fall from the Brahma Tejas or the power of Brahmanical excellence. Due to his association with many fallen conditioned souls, Brahma is a supreme Brahman, is afraid of such a fall down. And therefore, he prays to the Lord for protection. This is the warning for one and all in the spiritual advancement of life. I mean, this needs time to discussion and, extremely important purpose. Unless one is sufficiently protected by the Lord, he may fall down from his spiritual position. Therefore, one has to pray constantly to the Lord for protection and the blessing to carry out one's duty. So this verse gives a very clear warning. Don't become too attached to your followers or to students. Our attachment, I was making a point yesterday, I believe, devotee is concerned for everyone. There is no question that devotee is not concerned. It is only Jnani who pretends that he is detached like that. So devotee is concerned. When you are concerned for everyone, do not forget that you deserve the most concern. And don't ever think how much ever your follower may come and glorify you. You are so great. You are so profound. You are so elevated. Know for sure, unka kaam bolna hai. Don't take their words seriously. And the more you are under false ego, the more you are away from the spiritual protection, the more easily you will start taking their words seriously. It's just like pumping up the balloon like that. So don't become like that. So if somebody glorifies, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, maine kya kiya hai? I mean, if you ask me, what have I done? If I were not a God association of devotees, if I were not read Bhagavad Gita, if I was not trained in Bhakti life, where would I be? You're just repeating. Even if I have a realization, let's say if I take a credit for some realization of mine, it's not mine. Sarvasya cham hridhi sannivishtam mata smrita jnanam apanacha. It is the Lord who has blessed. And that blessing of the Lord has only come because the Vaishnavas are pleased by the service. And because Vaishnavas are pleased, then Lord is pleased. So where is my credit? Where is my credit? Like that. All right. So that conscience should be there. Like this. Lord Chaitanya also entrusted his missionary work to his devotees and assured them of his protection against the onslaught of material affection. The path of spiritual life is stated in Vedas to be like the edge of a sharpened razor. A little inattentiveness may at once create havoc and bloodshed, but one who is completely surrendered soul, always seeking protection of the Lord in the discharge of his entrusted duties, has no fear of falling into material contamination. So, my dear Lord, please give me service. My dear Lord, please give me the ability to render service. My dear Lord, please protect me from the pride. My dear Lord, please protect me from distraction. You got the prayer, flow of prayer. Next, what's next? अभी क्या? अभी order करो. बोलो प्रभु, मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ आपके लिए? So please direct me. Text number 25. Please read the translation.
The Lord, who is supreme and is the oldest of all, is unlimitedly merciful. I wish that he may smilingly bestow his benediction upon me by opening his lotus eye. He can uplift the entire cosmic creation and remove our dejection by kindly speaking his directions.
Now, this is the most difficult prayer to make. My dear Lord, please give me seva. My dear Lord, please give me the ability to render seva. Generally, we have already chosen the seva that we want to do. And for that seva only we are asking. If, for example, as somebody wants to learn Mridanga, so you would only pray for, my dear Lord, please give me the strength, ability so I can play Mridanga very nicely. You cannot make this prayer after all. My dear Lord, all right, now you tell me what I should do. That will not happen. You're getting the point now? So therefore, this is the last prayer. After saying everything, now he says, all right, I'm fully surrendered to you. My dear, you give me the direction what I should do, like this. Okay. All right. Brahmaji, the original manager. Now text number 26. Maitrivacha Swasambhavam Nisham Yayitvam Nisham Yivam Tapo Vidya Samadhibihi Yavan Mano Vachahastutva Virarama Sakhinnavat. Yes. Oh, I just realized. Madhani, our on branch group, we can invite over this 2023, 2024 something Bhakti Vaibhav group they've created, na? Those devotees can be also invited for this Bhagavatam classes. You can share the recording of class, in that group also, so they get tuned to. They want to all study Bhagavatam, later on. All right, translation. Please go ahead, Prabhu.
The sage Maitreya said, O Vidura, after observing the source of his appearance, namely the personality of Godhead, Brahma prayed for his mercy as far as mind and words would permit him. Thus, having prayed, he became silent, and if tired of his activities of penance, knowledge, and mental concentration.
Continue. Next shlokas. 27, 28 translation.
The Lord saw that the Brahma was very anxious about the planning and construction of the different planetary system and was depressed upon seeing the devastating water. He could understand the intention of Brahma, and thus he spoke in deep, thoughtful words, removing all the illusion that has arisen.
So, what is the quality of this material world? Huh? Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. What is the quality of this material world? Temporary. What is the quality of this material world? One thing which is common for everyone. Fear. Brahmaji doesn't have any dukkha. And to say temporary, he has such a long time life that he forgets what is temporary. So he doesn't have, so he is fearful, and is fearful of the devastating water like this. Is about to die quickly. What I was saying? Fear is the point. So Lord saw that Brahmaji has become fearful, and has a big task to be done. So the devastating water was so fearful that even Brahma was perturbed at its appearance and became very anxious about how to situate the different planetary system in outer space to accommodate the different kinds of living entities. The last few lines. The task was meant only for Brahma. No one in the universe can even understand how difficult it was. But by the grace of the Lord, Brahma was able to execute the tremendous task so perfectly that everyone is amazed to see the workmanship of the Vidhata, or the regulator. Hare Krishna. All right. So, when the task or service is difficult, then prayer comes naturally. Yes? I'll repeat again. When the task or the seva is difficult, then prayer comes naturally. When the service is not that difficult, then do we still pray? Think about it. So therefore, as a sadhaka, system has been created. Before any and every activity, at least offer pranam to your Guru Maharaj. So that at least you remind yourself, the activity that I'm doing is by the blessing of my spiritual master. You don't have to be vocal about it. Mental prayers should at least be there like that. All right, text number 29, the Supreme Personality of Godhead begin to speak up to text number 43. आज हम खत्म करके रहेंगे. ठीक है, तो अभी 14 श्लोक हैं, देखते हैं कैसा चलेगा. श्री भगवान वाचा मावेद गर्वा गातंद्रम सर्ग उद्यमम अवहा तन्मया पाठितम ह्यग्रे यन्मा प्रार्थ्यते भवान. पढ़िए.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead then said, O Brahma, O depth of Vedic wisdom, be neither depressed nor anxious about the execution of creation. What you are begging from me has already been granted before.
Yeah. Prabhupada writes in the purport. Now, very interesting. Brahma, what you're asking is already granted, which means you didn't even have to pray for it. What does it mean? What does it indicate about Brahma? It indicates the sincerity of Brahma. He didn't even have to express, because he was so sincere that he attracted the grace of the Lord nonetheless. And he did a penance for 1,000 long years. That itself a sincere endeavor. That's what is mentioned. At the end of the purport, 4-5 lines, Prabhupada writes very beautifully. Anyone who takes pride in doing responsible work, but does not give credit to the Supreme Lord, is certainly falsely proud and cannot execute anything nicely. Brahma and persons in the line of a disciple succession who follow in his footsteps are always successful in the discharge of loving transcendental service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahma ji, karte raho. Devotional service, perform karte raho. Bhuyastvam tapa atishta vidyam chaiva madashraya tabhayamanta hridi brahman lokam drakshyasi apavratan.
O
Continue.
Brahma, situate yourself in penance and meditation and follow the principle of knowledge to receive my favor. By these actions, you will be able to understand everything from within your heart.
So, Tesham satata yuktana bhajatam pritipurvakam. So, Lord is saying, bhajatam pritipurvakam karo, buddhi yogam. Tesham satata yuktana bhajatam pritipurvakam. Okay? Dadami buddhi yogam. I will give you the intelligence how to act. That's the point here. Text number. So, what we have to do? Now, if I ask you, what is our job profile? What is our job profile? As a devotee, what is our job profile? Go back home back to Godhead? Worry about going back home back to Godhead? Worry about love of Godhead? Worry about taste and chanting the holiness of the Lord? Hey, tu bacha kya? Yes. Our job profile is just to serve. Serve sincerely. Tesham satata yuktana bhajatam priti purvakam. That is a job profile for us. And what is the job profile for the Lord? Dadami buddhi yogam tam yenama upyanti. I give you the intelligence. You do your part. Like that. Text number 30 ho gaya? Text number 31. Tatatmani loke cha bhakti yukta samahitaha drashta simam tatam brahman mai lokam samatmanaha. Padi.
O Brahma, when you are absorbed in devotional service in the course of your creative activities, you will see me in you and throughout the universe, and you will see that you yourself, the universe, and the living entities are all in me.
You will see me. All right. We'll come back to it. Text number, which was that? 31. Read the 32 also. Yada tu sarva bhuteshu darshugnim ivasitam pratichakshit mamloku jayatariva kashmalam. Sorry.
You will see me in all living entities as well as all over the universe, just as fire is situated in wood. Only in that state of transcendental vision you will be able to free from all kind of illusion.
Here, Srila Vishwanath Thakur makes a very wonderful statement. He says, Lord is prophesying Brahma Vimohan Lila. Is prophesying Brahma Vimohan Lila. That Brahma would see me everywhere. When Gopas were captured and when he came to restore the Gopas, and then he saw all the Gopas, everywhere Gopas. And what did he see in all the Gopas? Vishnu. Like that, Vishwanath Thakur makes a wonderful connection. Text number 33, free from modes. Yada rahitam atmana bhutendriya gunashai swarupena mayopetam pashyan swarajyamachati.
When you are free from the conception of gross and subtle bodies, and when your senses are free from all influences of the modes of material nature, you will realize your pure form in my association. At that time, you will be situated in pure consciousness.
Yeah. So our path, our approach, our attempt is to purify ourselves. The more we purify ourselves, the more we realize the Lord. That's the point here. So the service is rendered with an objective to purify ourselves. The service is not rendered to enjoy the bucks that come along with that service. You getting the point? We have to divide that. Okay, text number 34. Nana karma vidanena praja bahivi shishakshataha natma vasidati asimte varishan mat anugraha.
Since you have desire to increase the population innumerably and expand your varieties of service, you shall never be deprived in this matter because my causeless mercy upon you will always increase for all time.
So in other words, Brahma, you're not lazy fellow. You're not saying, Prabhu, आपने कहा था creation कर दो, बात खत्म. No, our Lord is saying, because you want to expand your service, you want to increase your services, you want to render more and more service to me, then you become recipient of more and more mercy. That's the point. Remember the example of Srila Prabhupada saying that in the pond when the ducks quack, and then the person who's standing there to feed the quacking duck, whoever quacks the most gets the most. Similarly, if we want to do service, is okay, but we have to also keep on increasing our service contribution. That's the way of attracting more and more mercy of the Lord. Text number 35. Please go ahead.
You are the original Rishi, and because your mind is always fixed on me, even though you will be engaged in generating various progeny, the vicious mood of passion will never encroach upon you.
Correct. You will not be, because he's east of mode of passion, but you will not be affected. Text number 36.
Although I'm not easily knowable by the conditioned soul, you have known me today because you know that my personality is not constituted of anything material, and specifically not of the 5 gross and 3 subtle animal
So how did
elements.
Brahma got darshan of the Lord? By the causeless mercy of the Lord. That's the point. Text number 37. Continue.
When you were contemplating whether there was a source to the stem of the lotus of your birth, and you even entered into that stem, you could not trace out anything. But at that time, I manifested my form from within.
Yeah. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya. कहने का तात्पर्य है, I discussed about this whole storyline in one of the previous discussions, that what was happening. And then Brahma went down to look at the origin. He couldn't figure it out. And then he went to perform tapasya. And after that, when the Lord decided to dissipate darkness, and then Brahmaji saw everything. So it was all by the causeless mercy of the Lord. Therefore, we say, Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya. By the causeless mercy of by the causeless mercy of my Guru, he has anointed my eyes with knowledge. जैसे वो लगाते हैं ना काजल, because of which I'm able to see. Kajal helps improve the your vision. So like that, the jnana anointed as kajal helps me to see clearly. Text number 38. Go ahead.
O Brahma, the prayers that you have chanted praising the glories of my transit.
Now this is height of it. This is going to be a little bit hurting to those who have false ego, and which means you all have false ego. So Brahma जी ने आपको, आप लोग ये बताओ, आप लोगों को कितने लोग है, वो वर्ड से हटाओ वहां से, वो मेरा क्वेश्चन पूछने का फायदा नहीं रहेगा, फिर सब देख लेंगे. सो आप लोगों को ब्रह्मा जी की प्रेयर्स कितनी सबको कैसी लगी? अच्छी लगी? I would say it was a perfect, clear, defined prayers. Should be right. So Brahma ji should be acknowledged, glorified. Brahma ji, क्या प्रार्थना करते हो आप? क्या बुद्धि है आपकी? क्या सटीक प्रेयर बोली है? और प्रभु यहाँ बोलते हैं, ब्रह्मा, वो प्रार्थना भी जो तुमने करी, वह बुद्धि भी मुझसे ही आई थी. All right, now read the translation. ब्रह्मा बोलेगा, प्रभु कुछ तो रहने दो मेरे पास, प्रेयर्स पे भी मेरा हक नहीं है. Please read the translation, text number 38.
O Brahma, the prayers that you have chanted praising the glories of my transcendental activities, the penances you have undertaken to understand me, and your firm faith in me, all these are to be considered my causeless mercy.
Okay, we are doing good with the time. Read the puppet. Very beautiful puppet.
When a living entity desires to serve the Lord in transcendental loving service, the Lord helps the devotee in so many ways as the Chaitya Guru or the spiritual master within, and thus the devotee can perform many wonderful activities beyond material estimation. By the mercy of the Lord, even a layman can compose prayers of the highest spiritual perfection. Such spiritual perfection is not limited by material qualification, but is developed by dint of one's sincere endeavor to render transcendental service. Voluntary endeavor is the only qualification for spiritual perfection. Material acquisition of wealth or education are not considered.
All right. Brahma, I am pleased with you. Pritoham astu bhadram lokana vijayichaya yad ashtaushe gunamayam nirgunam manuvarnayan.
I'm very much pleased by your description of me in terms of my transcendental qualities, which appear mundane to the mundaners. I grant you all benediction in your desire to glorify all the planets by your activities.
Now comes Falashruti. Falashruti in the sense, if we also develop the mood or offer prayers in the same way, then what will happen? Text number 40. Ya itena pumanityam sutva stotrena mam bhajit tasya shau samprasideyam sarvakama varishwaraha.
Any human being who prays like Brahma and who does worship me shall very soon be blessed with the fulfillment of all his desires, for I am the Lord of all benediction.
Now, take out the screen, please. So, can anyone and everyone make this prayer that Brahmaji made? Prabhupada discusses that in the Prabhupada. Prabhupada says, no, everyone cannot make the prayers offered by Brahma. What did he say? My dear Lord, give me seva. Who wants seva? Everyone wants meva. First, give me seva, give me empowerment, which is fair enough. Now, you cannot enjoy the result of your seva. Don't make me proud. Then, don't allow me to get distracted, which means I should have a one-pointed focus and goal. And what is that? Samshuddhir Haritoshnam. Whatever I do for your pleasure. And finally, please tell me what I should do. So whose desire is he fulfilling? Lord's desires. The Brahma's prayer made by Brahma cannot be repeated by all. The prayers offered by Brahma cannot be chanted by anyone who desires to fulfill his own sense gratification. Such prayers can be selected only by a person who wants to satisfy the Lord in his service. Text number 41. Putrena tapasa yagne dane yoga samadhina radham nihishya sampamsam matpriti tattvinmatam.
It is the opinion of expert transcendentalists that the ultimate goal of performing all traditional good work, penances, sacrifices, charities, mystic activities, trances, etc., is to invoke my satisfaction.
So Lord continues to speak to Brahma. So this is the purpose. Text number 42. Aham atmatmanam dhataha prishtaha san priyasamapi atamai rathim kurya deha dhiryat krate priyaha.
I am the super soul of every individual. I am the supreme director and the dearest. People are wrongly attached to the gross and subtle bodies, but they should be attached to me only.
Very beautiful. So body or the aham mamiti concept leads to material attachment, not real love. Real love, Prabhupada defines very beautifully. In the middle of the purpose, Prabhupada says, the attachment for one's own body and its extensions like children, relatives, are actually developed on the basis of the real living entity. Developed on the basis of real living entity means because there is a jivatma there. As soon as the real living entity, which means the soul, is out of the body, even the body of the most dear son is no longer attractive. So we are attracted to what? We are attracted to Jivatma. And Jivatma is part and parcel of whom? Is the Supreme Lord. So our original relationship with the Lord, that love for the Supreme Lord is now getting divested to his energies. But that love is towards what? That love is actually towards the Supreme Lord, and our relationship with everyone else is just a perverted reflection of that true love. That's the point of Krishna is saying. I am the super soul. I am the supreme director and dearmost. People are wrongly attached to the gross and subtle bodies, but they should be attached to me only. Mamevam sujivaloka jibuta sanatan, living entity is part and parcel of the Lord. And we are attracted to wife, husband, son, daughter, whatnot, as long as Jivatma is in that body. So that's the point. I hope you're getting it. So our attachment to our cares, family members is nothing but a perverted reflection of our attachment for Lord Sri Krishna. Like this. A very beautiful purport. You can read it later on and you're reading this thing. Text number 43. All right, Brahmaji. Now time to start the service. Sarva Veda Mayenedam Atmanat Atma Yonina Prajastraja Yatha Purvam Yascha Mai Anusherate. Padhiye.
By following my instruction, you can now generate the living entities as before by dint of your complete Vedic wisdom, and the body you have directly received from me, the supreme cause of everything.
Now the time for you to start your service. Here the conversation between Brahma and Vishnu ends. Text number 44, originally the conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. Maitreya concludes. Maitreya Vacha, Tasma evam jagat shrashtri pradana purushishvaraha yuvaye jedam svena rupena kanjanabhastirodade. Yes.
The sage Maitreya said, after instructing Brahma, the creator of the universe, to expand the primeval Lord, the personality of the Godhead in his personal form as Narayan disappeared.
Let's conclude with the purport.
Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta. Sorry,
No,
should I read
read
the
the
full
purport.
purport?
Yeah, purport.
Okay. Yeah. Before his activity in creating the universe, Brahma saw the Lord. That is the explanation of Chaturshloki Bhagavatam. When the creation awaited Brahma's activity, Brahma saw the Lord, and therefore the Lord existed in his personal form before the creation. His eternal form is not created by the attempt of Brahma, as imagined by less intelligent men. The personality of a Godhead appeared as he is before Brahma, and he disappeared from him in the same form, which is not materially tinged. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purport of the third canto, 9th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Brahma's Prayer for Creative Energy.
So, secondary creation, Sarga Visarga. Visarga is in the subject matter now. That is a discussion. How did Visarga happen? For that, Brahma had to take birth. Brahma appeared. And now we are talking particularly, the discussion is of Brahma's night. One creation he do when he is born. Another creation he has to do every early morning, every new day, like this. That is what is discussed here. And Brahma prays to the Lord, performs penances, Lord blesses him. That all has been discussed so far. Now question arises, what did Brahma do next? How did Brahma create it? What did he create? How did he figure out 8.4 million species? How did he make 14 bhuvanas or divisions? Like that. So which means the divisions of time, everything. For another 2-3 chapters, there will be a technical discussion. Will be very interesting. If some of you are student of science, quantum mechanics, you will love the subject. And if you don't know the spelling of quantum, you chant Hare Krishna, no problem. That is also okay. That is also fine. That would be, and now the interesting storylines will begin. The appearance of 4 Kumaras, disappearance of 4 Kumaras, that leads to the anger of Brahma, which allows the appearance of Rudra, and then the 10 Swambhu, the Manasa Putra, etc., etc., and then Swambhu Munu, the first man and the first lady Satrupa, and their family planning and the lineage. Like the discussion continues. So, Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining in. We conclude our discussion here for today. Anyone has any concluding comment to add or anything to clarify? 9 बजे ये अच्छा प्रश्न नहीं है मेरे द्वारा पूछा गया.
The volume was very less today. Very soft and very less. Couldn't hear at all.
हरे कृष्णा. खुदा पहाड़ निकली चुईया. सेशन खत्म होने के बाद याद आया आपको बोलने के लिए?
No. I didn't want to disturb you.
Oh, you could have posted the message.
Yeah, it was fine for us, Mataji. Maybe you can check the
reading
setting
part
at
is
your
fine.
end.